Hello everyone, my name is Moji. You're watching a Bitcoin Bubble News channel. A lot of the people I talk to who trade Bitcoin seem to have a good feel for the market. I don't really look at it every day, so I don't say I do. But they seem to believe that this thing is going to die at 100,000. I'm not sure if that price is reasonable for the year, but I do know that this is going to become a big deal. I still don't believe we're there. I believe we are only starting out. But when you see how much money is coming into these ETFs, Cal, it's like a very big deal because it means that any regular person can buy as much as they want, whether they want to own it or bet on it. I believe this year has been very important. And I think it's shown a lot of people wrong about how brains work. And it sets the stage for something really good to happen. Billionaire Chamath Palihapitiya was one of the first people to invest in Bitcoin. He did so when Bitcoin was just $880 for each coin. He says that he once owned more than 5% of all the Bitcoins that were ever made. In the most recent episode of the All In podcast, Chamath talked about Bitcoin after it was split in half and showed crypto buyers an important chart. By looking at past Bitcoin cycles, Chamath found that the price stays fixed for 1 to 3 months after the halving, but then it goes through the roof 12 to 18 months later. Based on this trend from the past, it looks like prices will go up a lot after the first period after the halving. Chamath and his team think that Bitcoin could hit $1.1 million by October 2025, based on the average of the last 2 cycles. This study shows that there is a chance to make a lot of money in the cryptocurrency market, which shows how important Bitcoin's cyclical behavior is. You can use the averages to figure this out, but keep in mind that these are only trends and not predictions. I'd like to add one more thing to that. Yeah, this isn't advice on money. It's not advice about money. All of these are just guesses. We use these to figure out how much Bitcoin is worth. On the next page, you can start to see what might happen if you just average the last few cycles, since the first one was so extreme. You can start to. This is just cycles 2 and 3, just so you know. If you look at the averages of cycles 2 and 3, you can start to see some deep respect. For more than one reason, I thought it would be fun to talk about crypto. One reason is that the cut happened at the end of April. Did that take place? People who don't know, Bitcoins are made by answering very hard mathematical puzzles that cost a lot of time, effort, and money. The halving is where this happens. And when you figure it out, you get some Bitcoin as a prize. That prize is also cut in half about every 4 years. This is known as a half. And I saw someone this week who made me think of all of this. Also, I want to properly praise this person. His name is Wences Casares. I would say that Wences was the first person who spread Bitcoin in Silicon Valley. He was the one who told me about it in 2010. I remember that he made me think of the story. His name is Oren and he is from Argentina. He comes from Greece. I'm going to try to speak with his accent. Bitcoin must be bought. I heard the story. It made me fall in love. I believe I called my family office. I want to buy 1 million of these. He was like, are worth $1 million. He asked, are you crazy? And I said, no, that's just a small starter. The main meal is coming up. Anyway, he has done an amazing job of knowing Bitcoin and using it for his own gain. I want to thank him for making me think about this. But when I saw him a few days ago, he told me that I should really look at how Bitcoin has changed since it was split in half. So I was very interested. So I had Quentin, someone on my team, put this together. Let's go to the first page, Nick. What makes this interesting then? Here is a quick look at the Bitcoin price for you. In other words, there have been 2 rounds of halving. I also asked him to look at how the prices changed 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, and 18 months after the haircut. And what you'll notice is that there are times at the start when people are kind of rethinking what's going on, like when Bitcoin halves. Their goal is to figure it out. This is pretty much what I would say happens in the first month and the first 3 months as well. There are, however, crazy price increases that happen between 6 months and 1 year and 18 months after these events. That's what this page shows. 18 months after the first split, the price of Bitcoin went back up 45 times. It came back almost 28 times after the second half. And after the third half, it returned almost 8 times as much, which is a huge return in such a short time. Click on the next page. Thus, if you plot that, this is what it starts to show how this price changed after each of these rounds of halving. What's so cool about that? Besides the price halving, which is interesting, if past is any indication, we should also see some price growth. Of course, the other thing that has happened is that Bitcoin is now used for business. We talked about this as my big prediction for 2024. These ETFs will really help Bitcoin cross the chasm and have its center key moment, right? You can use the averages to figure this out, but keep in mind that these are only trends and not predictions. Okay, I just want to. Let's say we use these to figure out how much Bitcoin is worth. When you turn the page over, if you count the last few rounds together, you can get an idea of what might happen. So since the first cycle was so extreme, you're only going to do cycles 2 and 3 here. To be clear, these are just the means of cycles 2 and 3. You start to see some